we're running about a month. It's about a month before we're going to be out of jet fuel in Europe. And you're already seeing that airliners are already cutting back. So Air Canada is cutting back their flights to LaGuardia for a month at this point, maybe longer. It's not clear when they'll restart them. I spend a lot of my time now on different media with Australia. 80% of their oil comes in here into this essentially an island continent, and they're really already strapped and in crisis. And I also spend a lot of time with India because they are already experiencing dramatic shortages as well. So what you are seeing here play itself out. And now for your audience, I think it's important to understand there's 3 stages I'm explaining. It's not just a crystal ball, throw the dart prediction. There's 3 stages. Stage 1 is for the first 45 or so days. You have, when you have a cutoff, you have prices go up. And then you get into the 45 to 60 day range, and that's that 10-day period you're talking about, where you actually start to have the shortages occur. And that's what you're seeing emerging now. And then as you go from day 60 to day 90, the shortages get worse and worse. It's not like shortages stop, and prices keep getting worse and worse. But then you have contraction kick in. And that's really what will start to kick in by May 31st here. So what you're seeing is already the predictions I'm making in terms of the shortages are coming sooner than I was anticipating, not later. And you're already starting to see the glimmers of the contraction. And what you just described with the possible escalation coming, this could actually, I guess, even further double confirm the expectations I had.
What does that mean, contraction, for us consumers?
It means we're going to stop producing commodities. We're going to stop having actual goods and actual seats on aircraft. So let me just pick air traffic, because a lot of people we hear travel in the air. So in Europe, there are about 110 million passengers on aircraft every single month. So if you don't have jet fuel, if you literally zero it out, the first step is you'll scramble. How can I get some more of it from somewhere? So you'll go to Nigeria, that's a place, and you'll actually come to the United States. But that is actually occurring, well, everybody else is running out of jet fuel too. Europe's not going to be the only one. And so you'll get about 50%, maybe if you're lucky, back. So that means suddenly, after about 4 weeks, the contraction piece of this is that you'll go from 110 to something like 80, and then 70, and then 60 million passengers. And then that's just the passengers. You see, there's all the cargo, all the mail, all the just-in-time deliveries that happen through the air that we've gotten so used to. That's going to contract as well. And then the actual products, not just the delivery system, the actual products will start to contract as well. So that we experienced some of this contraction during COVID, but this is now in some ways even more disastrous, because the Strait of Hormuz, 20% of the world's oil, there's just not a spare 20% laying around to pick up. And you now have both Iran shutting that down and effectively the United States shutting it down. So you got to persuade 2 countries to let that oil open up, not just one anymore. When you have these shortages, the people who go without are the poorest people, always.
Yeah.
The richer people and the middle class people, they'll pay more prices and they will give up luxury like steak, but they will not go without as much as the poorer people. Now, the people who have become the poorer in the last 30 years, the audience may not really know this, are exactly Trump's core base, which is the non-college educated white working class. That group has lost more ground since 1990 than anybody else. So other groups can complain, but I'm just telling you, the curves, the actual reality curves. So that group here is a group that, for example, could be truckers. They could be the people that are going to be using, and that what's happening is, I think it would make a great deal of sense. So President Trump is already, I'll just float an idea here, which I've never done before, but this vehicle might be able to get to the West Wing, which is there needs to be something akin to no tax tax on tips for the gas prices that are being paid for by the white working class here, who are actually using that fuel for their jobs. And so I believe there needs to be some actual legislation. Right now, you've got the Republicans in control of the presidency, the Senate, and the House. And they're constantly saying they can't do anything. Well, let's just put something on the table that I think should be, if they could do anything, they should do this. And that is for the white working class. I'm not saying just give handouts. I'm not a believer in the handout. I am, however, a believer in giving people money to continue their jobs. So you're not actually then having to pay people on welfare and on unemployment, et cetera, et cetera. I believe that this would be a smart thing for Scott Bessent to think about, I think for others in the administration to think about, and President Trump. And I think this would be a very smart time to be thinking that way, because that group, no matter how, they don't care about the spin. They're not going to buy the spin, okay? And Joe Rogan showing up at the White House, that's nice, okay? But they're going to be feeling that, and especially people like truckers are going to feel that. And the people putting that gas in the tractors on those farms, they're going to feel this problem.